So Uttar Pradesh has this big economic blueprint for its future, and it really comes down to three core pillars. We're going to break down that whole strategy, from investing in young entrepreneurs all the way to laying down thousands of kilometers of new roads. Let's get into it.
It's a huge question, right? And the answer, it's never just one magic policy. It's about a whole series of connected moves, all designed to build momentum for the long haul. So let's see what that plan actually looks like on the ground.
All right, the first piece of the puzzle, and you could argue it's the most important one, is people. We're talking about the state's youngest generation. The core idea here is pretty straightforward. You invest in the youth, and the rest of the economy is going to follow.
And they're tackling this with a really smart three-pronged approach. Don't think of this as just a random list of programs. No, it's more like a complete system designed to encourage new businesses, provide the digital tools everyone needs, and build up some real-world job skills.
So let's look at that first prong, entrepreneurship. The goal here is to really shift the mindset from looking for jobs to creating them. This scheme is all about helping trained young people start their own ventures in the MSME sector. That's micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, which are, the absolute backbone of the economy.
And get this, 5 lakh rupees. That's the amount new entrepreneurs can get as an interest-free loan. I mean, that's huge because it directly tackles the #1 hurdle for any startup, finding that initial cash. By taking away the burden of interest, it makes that first leap just so much less risky.
But hey, funding alone isn't enough, right? The other 2 prongs are just as crucial. On one side, you've got a major push for digital access, getting tablets and smartphones right into the hands of students. And on the other, there's a fund dedicated purely to practical training and apprenticeships. So when you put it all together, you've got the tools, the skills, and the funding. It's the whole package.
Okay, so if the first pillar is all about investing in people, the second is all about connecting them. Because think about it, what good are new skills and businesses if they're stuck in isolation? And that brings us to infrastructure.
And to see just how big they're thinking, look no further than the Ganga Expressway. We are not talking about patching up a few local roads here. This is a massive artery, a true game changer that's designed to slash travel time for both people and goods between the state's major economic centers.
And here's the thing, this isn't some far-off dream on a piece of paper. The first phase is already almost done, with nearly 90% of the work finished. That is an incredible amount of progress, turning that blueprint into the actual concrete and asphalt that's going to pave the way for more economic growth.
But they're not stopping there, not by a long shot. Once that initial link is finished, surveys are already happening to extend the expressway even further. The idea is to connect more regions and create an even tighter, more integrated network. It's a real long-term vision.
All right, so we've got people and we've got infrastructure. So what's the third and final pillar? Well, it's all about collaboration. It's about how the state is plugging into these bigger national-level programs to really amplify its own efforts. And this is really the key. The state isn't trying to reinvent the wheel. Instead, by taking these central government schemes and implementing them effectively, they can deliver benefits to a much wider range of people. We're talking everyone from farmers and students to street vendors. It's all about synergy. And you can see exactly how that synergy plays out right here. It's not just one group that benefits. For farmers and fishermen, the loan limit on their credit cards gets a boost. For street vendors in the cities, there are better loans and digital payment tools. And for the next generation, a plan for 50,000 new innovation labs in schools, which, you see, brings us full circle right back to that first pillar of empowering the youth.
Okay, so we've looked at all the different moving parts. After all that, what is the big picture? What's the core blueprint for growth when you boil it all down?
It really just comes down to these 3 simple but really powerful ideas. First, you invest in your people, especially the young ones. Second, you build the physical and digital connections they need to thrive. And third, you work together with national partners to make the biggest possible impact. That's the strategy in a nutshell.
So there you have it. The blueprint is clear, the projects are moving, but the big question, the one that really matters in the end, is what will the actual real-world impact be in 5 or even 10 years from now? Well, that's the part of the story that's still being written. Thanks for joining me.